Lauren here with BIZROK. In today's video, we're actually going to break this into a two-part segment, okay? The purpose of this whole conversation is around broken appointments and cancellations and, getting patients to give you more than 48 hours is kind of my rule of thumb, but patients giving you more than 48 hours notice before they move an appointment. So the first video, we're going to break it into the process and what really needs to happen on the front end process. And then the second video is going to be all on language. Okay. So a few different things. So the first part is, one, what is your process? What is your cancellation policy? I've seen every policy under the sun. I've seen charging patients, not charging patients, collecting payments over the phone to hold an appointment. And so I've got my own personal philosophy on this and I want to share it with you. So one, I'm a huge fan of a 48-hour cancellation policy. And here's why. 24 hours does not give you enough time to get that filled appointment refilled. And so by asking your patients to give you 2 days notice, you have a higher likelihood of actually getting a new patient into that open appointment. 24 hours is kind of hit or miss. And what I would encourage you to do is track it. See how many patients you can actually fill last minute in 24 hours versus how many you can get filled in 48 hours. But hands down across the board, I love 48 hours notice because it gives your front office team the opportunity to actually get a new patient into that seat. Holes on the schedule we could talk about all day long, but having a 48-hour notice, a 48-hour policy will limit those holes on your schedule, okay? The other part, charging patients or collecting money up front. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of making patients pay, especially if it's a brand new patient and they've never been to your practice. You're already kind of putting up a wall between you and the patient whenever you're asking them to pay something over the phone. I believe in assuming the very best in all of our patients. And by telling a brand new patient, hey, in order to keep this new patient appointment, we do ask that you actually provide your credit card information so that we can ensure that you come into our practice. Yikes. So guys, it doesn't leave a great taste in your patient's mouth. It doesn't make them feel comfortable. Instead, I would rather you err on the side of positive, assume the best, assume that that patient's going to show up for their appointment and just get them scheduled. They haven't come into your practice. They haven't even started dating you yet, we'll say, and we're already collecting money from them. So you want to make sure that you have a positive experience with your patients, but also not charging them on the front end. Now, if it's for restorative and you have a recall patient who you're scheduling a large restorative appointment with, sure, you can charge them whatever you want. I'm totally fine with that, especially if you have a repeat offender who's constantly moving or canceling their appointment. Collecting some sort of percent towards that appointment, totally fine, but outside of the scope of this conversation. So recall patients and even new patients, when they come in, every single patient should be signing some sort of financial waiver and waiver for the policies in your practice. So that waiver might say 48-hour cancellation, notice on all moved appointments, and a $50 fee. Personally, I've seen every fee under the sun. Personally, I like $50. It's enough of a nuisance that it's a little annoying to pay $50, but not enough that it's going to prevent somebody from ever wanting to come back to you. So $50 tends to be like a great rule of thumb, but do what's best for your practice and your type of patient. And then the other part too is making sure that we're actually writing notes down. One, we're scanning the policy that they signed and we're putting it into their chart. But then anytime somebody does cancel, we want to make sure, or move their appointment, we want to make sure that we're educating them, and we always notate that in their chart. So we're going to make notes like left voicemail for patient, friendly reminder of appointment, spoke with patient, moved their appointment, patient knows that there's a 48-hour cancellation policy. So things like that. I want to make sure that you're always over notating in that patient's chart. So in the next short video, we're going to specifically get into language for how you leave voicemails to patients, the conversation that you have, and then when a patient does need to move their appointment, how do we overcome that? And how do we educate them or re-educate them about our 48-hour policy?